This is a quartet group, saxophone. Oh wait, I forgot to share. It's a quartet group with saxophone and guitar and bass and drums. Really, really fantastic group here. And so they're going to play through the melody, and then at the end of the melody, there's going to be a solo break for the saxophone. And so remember, the solo break, you can keep count of the tempo. So maybe see if you can still keep the tempo going. So that's a solo break right there. So it's different from the cadenza. Louis Armstrong, it was like impossible to keep a beat, but that one you can clearly keep the beat going and you can follow along. So you'll want to know the difference between those three: the solo break, the cadenza, and the stop time. Yeah. So hopefully that helped clear up any kind of things. I know that could be those can be a little tough to kind of know the difference there. So like I said, so yeah, hopefully maybe this is sparking some questions you got. I'm just gonna keep rolling though if I don't hear anything from anyone. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. The difference between the country blues and the vaudeville blues. Does anyone want to tell me the difference between the two? That's from chapter 3. The country blues and the vaudeville blues. Does anyone remember that or want to tell me? Yeah, don't jump all at once. No, I'm just kidding. It's all right. So I'll just explain it. Harmonic style, a little bit, kind of. So with the country blues, so you remember. So the country blues, it was mostly performed by male musicians. Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so country blues was mostly performed by male musicians throughout the rural South. Um, and the form was loose and improvisatory. So, it might not necessarily be a 12 bar blues. It might not have, it might be 11 bar blues. It might be 13. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit loose with it. And these ones, country blues, are mostly performed by male musicians. The vaudeville blues, or people also call it the classic blues, this was what we heard from, if you remember, Ma Rainey. So her style was the vaudeville blues. And so this was a style in which the female singers were accompanied by a small band. And so because there was a small band, you couldn't really be loose with the form because everyone had to be on the same page, right? So just to make it easier for everyone, they made sure it was always a 12 bar blues. So a vaudeville blues is always going to be a 12 bar blues. And classic blues, it's going to be a little more loose with the form. Also, with the vaudeville blues, the musicians would put unorthodox objects on their guitar strings to get a different timbre, and so they might use bottlenecks, knives, keys, you know, just anything they can kind of find around them, honestly, and it'll change the timbre of the instrument. Um, so yeah, so that's definitely important to know about that. Um, yeah, and so yeah, but some of you guys I see you were remembering it, so that's good. Let's see here. What else do we got? Where's my little thing? Uh, oh, you know, just a quick thing. Remembering who John Philip Sousa was? You guys, someone tell me who is John Philip Sousa and why was he important? John Philip Sousa. First brass band. Yep, exactly. Nailed it. So yeah, he was the one who this was from chapter 3. Chapter 3 still, same as the blues. Oh wait, yeah, chapter 3. Yeah, he was the one who formed the first brass band. Um, and he popularized the march form, and so you'll want to know the march form as well. Does anyone know which section in the march form does does it change key? That's important to know. Uh, and you'll want to know the march form. It's AABBCCDD. That's pretty easy to remember, right? And so it's in the C section, aka the trio, is uh, is where the march form changes keys. And so that's important to note because later on in jazz, so this was in like the late 1800s, right? So then later on in jazz, you know, that becomes an important factor uh, in the music is you know, on the B section or the bridge is usually when it changes keys, and so that's coming from the march form, or they'll sometimes call it the ragtime form because ragtime kind of adopted that too. So yeah, John Philip Sousa, you'll want to know about him. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Okay, and this one's kind of confusing too, but it's good to know. So, being able to know the differences between ragtime and stride. Does anyone want to take a guess at the differences between ragtime piano and stride piano? They're similar, but there are some differences. Stride is much more harmonically simple. Um, I think they have about the same kind of, you know, complexity, I guess. Um, I think maybe what you're going at is stride is more technically. Uh, so stride is definitely more technical. There's a lot going on with your hands. It's faster. Yeah, yeah. Um, so stride piano. It's like ragtime. I think of stride piano as it's like the ragtime piano from New York. And so when you think of like, you know, kind of like the stereotypical New York uh you know, person, they're always on the go, they're moving fast, they talk fast, they're loud, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how stride piano is. It's it's much more aggressive than regular ragtime piano. It's kind of more in your face. It's faster, it's louder. A ragtime, it's a little more graceful and more polished. If you think of, you know, Scott Joplin, Maple Leaf Rag, that's like a perfect example of ragtime piano, and it's very, you know, it sounds clean and polished and, you know, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not calm, but it's kind of like chill, I guess. Whereas stride, it's going to be more aggressive, it's going to be faster, louder. Um, so yeah, so that's an important difference to know. I would look at that again if you don't remember that. Stride pianos talked about in chapter 5. And ragtime is talked about in chapter 3. So it would definitely help you to revisit those terms. Let's see here. Let's see. And once again, I'll say it again. If you have any questions of your own about anything, feel free to ask. I'm just kind of, going with what I think is important to know. Hopefully this is helping you. Let's see here. Oh, right. Okay. So you'll want to know the New Orleans style bands. And so there was a couple different bands, right? You had who was the first group to record a jazz song? Does anyone know?
Original Dixieland Jazz Band.
Yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah, so the original Dixieland Jazz Band was the first group to record a jazz song. And so, and there was a couple, different groups that you'll want to know about as well. So we got original Dixieland Jazz Band. We have the Red Hot Peppers, right? Who was the person who led the Red Hot Peppers? Oh, wait a second. Let's see. So the person who led the Red Hot Peppers. Wait a second. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the person who led the Red Hot Peppers was Jelly Roll Morton. Oh, yeah, there we go, right there. Yep. So Jelly Roll Morton was the leader of the Red Hot Peppers. Oh, wait, I'm getting my people mixed up. Yeah, so the Red Hot Peppers, they were the group that was only existed to record, and so that's very important to know. They didn't do any live shows. Jelly Roll Morton and the Red Hot Peppers only recorded music. They didn't play anywhere live. And then you had King Oliver's Creole Jazz Band, and they were the total opposite. They only played for live audiences, so they only did live performances. That was King Oliver's Creole Jazz Band. So yeah, so those are definitely important to know about. So the original Dixieland Jazz Band was the first group to record a jazz song. Red Hot Peppers, that group was solely formed to record and nothing else. And King Oliver's Creole Jazz Band, they only did live shows. They never recorded or anything. They just played live shows and that's it. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. I'm just going down the list here. Oh, okay. Art Hickman. So he was a short part of chapter 5, but he definitely had a really big influence on jazz. What was his impact on jazz? Art Hickman from chapter 5. Let's see. So I'm sure you're getting close to finding the answer. I'll go ahead and just tell you. So Art Hickman was the musician who came to New York from California, and he brought in his band. He had saxophones. I think he had 2 saxophones. So before then, though, there were no saxophones in jazz at all. There was only, like the New Orleans style. There was cornet, trombone, and clarinet. There was no saxophone. So Art Hickman is responsible for making it kind of cool or trendy to have saxophones in a jazz group. So that's his importance. He's like a little short part of chapter 5, but like I said, it's very important, or else I wouldn't have a job. No one would want me to play for them, so